Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Poland Daily Travel. We're in the studio because, of course, during these times, we cannot be out and about, not only because there are restrictions on where one can go, but because the usual crew would be several people, and that's not allowed, especially traveling in one car, since we're not all of the same family, although sometimes we feel like we are. At any rate, this is a very unusual time. It's a kind of time that I've never seen before. I've never seen in my lifetime, certainly anything approaching this kind of emergency. And I suppose a lot of you could say the same. In the studio, though, however, I have managed to get, at a social distance, Nicholas Richardson, the inimitable Nicholas Richardson. He is not attired in his usual splendor, but he has gone actually casual for this episode of Poland Daily Travel, which might, in a way, be an anti-travel episode, couldn't it? Wouldn't you think, Nick?
Well, yes, because it's hard to have a travel. We are keeping a social. Mind you,
6 feet.
We are keeping a big. We've always been socially distant.
We've always done
so
that.
That's nothing new. Yes.
In the circles in which you travel, you're not going to let a guy like me in those circles.
Well, certainly not. No,
a rough-hewn backwoodsman from Virginia.
From Virginia, yes. Well, but you know, you're
rough-hewn.
Rough-hewn, yes. Although I think your edges have become rather rounder in recent years. But yes, you're right. I mean,
that's what she said.
Aha.
Yeah.
Yes, but one of the problems is, of course, we can't actually travel anywhere very easily.
Yeah.
So it's hard to talk about actually show people traveling. We can talk about travel, of course, but who would have thought in our lifetimes, or in the modern world when we travel so much more than our parents travelled, that all of a sudden, from one day to the next, our ability to even travel around our own town or city would, or countryside, I think in the countryside people have a little more leeway, would be so restricted. It's extraordinary, really. You know, not leaving the house for days at a time.
Or if you do, you're just going out
to join a queue outside a shop to buy basics, yes.
Yeah, a person who walks their dog is now a freedom fighter.
Exactly. But I think somebody was telling me, or my boys were telling me, that you can't even go, if you want to go on your bicycle, you can ride your bicycle to the shop to get supplies. But apparently you can't actually ride your bicycle just for the fun of riding your bicycle anymore.
Or you can ride it from, I mean, I rode my bicycle.
Well, you can ride it from home to work, obviously.
Which brings to mind a song. I ride my bicycle now here today.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
But I rode it to work. So if anybody, I mean, how does that work? They would stop you and say,
Well, I think they haven't.
Forbidden leisure activity?
They haven't yet got around to actually stopping people, as far as I'm aware.
I don't know if they have or not. I heard somebody on Facebook saying they had been stopped and fined, but it was the 1st of April.
Yes.
And it could have been a cruel joke.
I think that one was a cruel joke.
I think it was a cruel joke. You saw it, didn't you?
Yeah. How do I suppose if they stop you, you just have to say, well, I'm going to the grocery shop. So top tip is always to have a shopping bag in your pocket. I mean, I have shopping bags in my pocket anyway.
Or just carry one.
Always buying bits and pieces for the
I have
for the larder.
I'm actually wearing a shopping bag as an undergarment today.
I don't think the viewers are really interested in your proclivities. Let's stick to travel.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a travel tip, because if you run out of underwear on a long trip, you can always wear a shopping bag.
Yes, as long as it's, I imagine a polythene.
Take the groceries out.
Yes.
Unless you're bragging.
And I imagine a cotton shopping bag would be rather more comfortable than a polythene one.
Well,
and as well as being better for the environment. So that's
depends.
a top tip, yes.
It depends.
Be environmentally sensitive.
It is
wear
like
a cotton shopping bag.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, the most exciting travel I do these days is, like most people, is from home to the grocery shop to buy essential supplies, or from home to here to record something in front of the camera. I mean, that's how my daily travel life has been restricted.
Yeah, and I would say the same for me. I mean, I travel between, home and here.
So that is a bit. I mean, that is.
But not very often. And I have to say that we wouldn't even be here if it weren't for the fact that you're coming in. You're coming in here to read the news anyway, and to do history programs. So you're actually coming into the studio.
Otherwise, we wouldn't be allowed to meet physically, even at 6 feet distance.
Even at any distance.
We'd be talking via Skype
In fact,
or
I'm
something.
going to put this on. But wait a second. The reason I wear this is because I understand that if the virus can't recognize me.
Not entirely true. I mean, obviously, anything you put over your face and mouth, even if it's not 100% effective to defend you, is probably better than nothing, providing you wash it regularly and you don't sort of leave it lying around. The other point is, which is why I think masks are considered to be useful, is that it stops you inadvertently infecting anybody else.
I think this is the main thing.
That's the main thing. That's what people say, oh, well, the mask doesn't work, let's not wear it. Well, that's only half the story. It's actually in case
to protect you from someone who may be...
Or to protect you from infecting somebody. You may have the virus and not know about it.
Yeah, to protect
the
you
other
from
person.
infecting someone. To stop you infecting someone, right?
So we probably will all be told to start wearing masks soon.
They already did that in the United States.
Yeah, they did it here. I mean, they're doing it gradually everywhere. In the early days, there was a lot in the media about, oh, well, the masks are not effective as a form of defence. But of course, they are effective as a form of stopping you spreading it, which is more or less the same thing.
Which is the main thing, because the problem is that people have, as everyone knows by now, people have this for some time before they show any signs, and some people never show signs.
Well, my sister, funnily enough,
being infected.
She was diagnosed with it a couple of weeks ago, and she's now recovered and back at work. But she had symptoms, and because she works in the health service in the UK, she was actually tested. She had it, but by the time she got the test results, she was always feeling much better.
She was recovering.
She was, and her husband had it, but he was sort of 2 days behind her in symptom terms, and he's now better. So she goes in the statistics as somebody who's had it and has been tested positive. And of course, he doesn't appear in any statistics because he's not been tested. And presumably their children may or may not have caught it. And so this is another thing, I think, as we try to grapple with it, is the sheer paucity of statistics. But of course, that's a far from travel.
Well, we'll get on. This is part of it, because we can't really travel. At any rate, let's end this episode here. Thanks for the vignette about your sister. I'm very glad that she is feeling better.
Yeah. No, she is. Well, of course, and just by way of, no, she works in the health service, and she actually runs a training department, but she's on the list to go back, because in her earlier career she was running intensive care wards, so she's already had the letter from the powers that be saying, would you stand by in case to come back in intensive care if we need you.
She's on her way back.
Yeah.
And we're on our way back too with the next episode of Poland Daily Travel. We're in quarantine here, and we're glad you could watch this episode. Stay safe at home.